I am live. My name is Gary. If you're wandering the internet and ran across this video because you were unlucky, uh, you should know this is part of our regular weekday series from the Denver Guitar Orchestra. And we teach one song a day from various levels in the program. Today we are working on level 2, and it is going to be Drunken Sailor today, which is awesome, by the way. And we are going, so if you need to get the sheet music, you go to denverguitarorchestra.com. Everything you need will be posted there. And if you're just logging in, you can fast forward exactly 2 minutes. So I'll be waiting for people to log in and get set up, get tuned up, and all that good stuff. Got to make sure everybody's in and happy and ready to go. And then we will be playing some music. What else should I tell you about? Let's see. Mostly do fingerstyle and classical music in that group, a lot of Spanish guitar. And what we're working on is getting our tools boxes in place to play decent music on guitar that doesn't require singing. And we do a little bit of singing just to prove that we don't want to do singing. And then we move on from there. So level 1 is 1-chord songs, level 2 is 2-chord songs, level 3 is all chord songs, but public domain stuff, so it tends to be a little bit older music and a little bit better music. And then level 4 we do just whatever we feel like doing. And so level 4 is where we want to get everybody playing, and so that they feel like, hey man, I'm really becoming a great guitar player. That's the goal, and not necessarily to make you Red Rocks good or Staples Center good. That's not the goal. The goal is to get where you're in charge of the instrument and you can make it play beautiful music like it was intended to do in an intimate atmosphere with just you and your guitar and a couple of your best friends who are probably also guitar players. And that's what we're working on around here. Today we are going to work on, it's 2:31. I'm going to get started. This is a fast lesson. This is not something we're going to spend a ton of time on, but what's nice about this lesson is, hey Elizabeth, how's the sound? Today we get to work on a thing called transposing, which I love talking about because I think until you are able to effectively transpose music, we're all sort of just hiding and watching. Thanks, Elizabeth. We're all hiding and watching and hoping that we don't have to actually know how to do it. And it's actually a fairly straightforward process when we are transposing. And so let's go grab Drunken Sailor, and I can show you basically what you think about when you are doing that. Hey, Arlo. Oh, glad to see you, buddy. Nice to have you in for a little while. I'm going to be talking about a 2-chord song called Drunken Sailor. I bet it's within your skill set, Arlo. Arlo has been playing guitar his entire life. And Arlo is, well, he's 29, but somehow he's managed to get 50 or 60 years worth of playing guitar in. And he's a way better guitar player than I am. And I love having him here. Keeps me honest. Last week we sent out, we did an arrangement of Hotel California, and I live in fear of what Arlo's opinion of it was, and he sent me a nice email saying, yeah, it's all right. so let's get started on Drunken Sailor. So we'll be talking a little bit about playing instrumentally in this song, but that's not really what we're going to be talking about. What we're really going to be talking about is playing in a minor key and switching it between various chords, and even using bar chords to make it where you can play all of the possible chord sets. And I think that's the more important tool set here. The song itself is whatever. It's a fun song to play, but it's not going to turn you into a great guitar player. So the arrangement, let's talk very briefly about just how the melody works. The arrangement says, what shall we do with the drunken sailor. Okay, so what shall we do with the drunken sailor? So there's not a lot of melody there, right? There's a whole lot of zeros. Oh, I forgot about that entirely, Arlo. I don't know. We'll have to talk about how. I will send you an email, Arlo. I apologize. We got to get you a guitar for your grandkid. Um, let's do this. When you're talking about great melodies, you're talking about moving around frets and strings a lot. When you're on the piano, for example, when you play this note, your tendency is to then play a different note. And so when we write music on the piano, we tend to get pretty good melody in there because of our tendencies to switch. On guitar, a lot of times, or with singers, we don't necessarily do that same thing. We oftentimes, if this is our chord, we have this tendency to hang on to the chord for a while, and we have a tendency to write less melodic stuff. It's why I really struggle with modern music, trying to find teachable pieces of music, because a lot of them are written on guitars and don't have that same melody movement that we need to make a really great fingerstyle piece. And this is a great example. This was obviously just written by a bunch of people sitting around singing and drinking beer. But what the principle here is, not a lot of melody, and when you don't have a lot of melody in something, it doesn't necessarily make a great fingerstyle guitar thing to play. So this one, if we are playing the chord and the melody, it's still very, very unidimensional. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? And then it doesn't get much better in measures 3 and 4. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? And then in measures 5 and 6, it goes right back. Measure 5 goes back to the original idea. What shall we do with the drunk? And then you get a little bit of melody. And sailor. That's as most melodies you're going to get in this song. And you go to the lie in the, and then you go back to the A minor, morning. Okay, and then the main chorus has a tiny bit more melody in it, but not a ton. Hooray, and up she rises. Hooray, and up she rises. Hooray, and up she rises. Again, all the way up to 5. G chord. Her lie in the morning. So the melody's fine. It's not great. It's pretty. It has a tendency, especially through the verse, 0 0 0 0 0 0 2 1 0 3 3 3 3 3 3 3 3 3 0 0 3 0 0 2 3 5 0 3 0 2 2 2. And so we did a little bit of melody, but not a ton. So we don't study this song as a great melodic device, something that a piano player would have written, something that Elton John or Billy Joel would have written, with a lot of melody and a lot of motion in the singing, and a lot of motion up and down the piano keyboard. This one's pretty bum 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 bum. Now that doesn't mean they're not fun, and in fact, it means it's even more fun on this if you play it right. So we wanted to talk about A minor and G and why they go together, and then we start talking about how we would then switch those chords. So when we're talking about any kind of music, there's relationships that things have. And normally we talk about the 1-4-5 program in folk music. So if it's in the key of C, D, E, F is going to be its friend, and G is going to be its friend. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, those guys are going to be friends. So C, F, and G. If we went into a guitar key, say key of A, B, C, D, E, well, D and E work really well with A. So, and to prove it, A, D, E. Let me play them right. A, you can make an entire career in guitar just with those 3 chords, right? Okay, just those 3. A, B, C, D, and E. So those go together. Now, the good cowboy chord or another guitar key would be D. Okay, D, E, F, G, and A. So D, G, and A are going to be buddies. Okay, let's do that. D, G, A, D. I am a cowboy and I'm writing me a song about my pickup tonight. D chord and G chord and A chord and D. Well, we start on the same chord that we end on, right? So D to D or A to A. And so when we think about which chords go together, we think of 1, 4, and 5. Those are our buddies. Now, this song is not the same. This is in a minor key. So A minor has a little bit different program. It still works. You can still do A minor, B, C, D minor, and E are going to go together. So we could try that. A minor, D minor, E, and then back to A minor. I keep going the wrong minor chord. So, and then if you pick them, they sound really nice in minor. So A minor, D minor, and E. We usually use an E major on here instead of an E minor. You could probably get away. Let's see what that sounds like. A minor, D minor, E minor. It's okay, but if you make it a major, a little bit better. Back to A. So it likes to be a major. You can substitute a minor. It just doesn't have that same sense of urgency to get back to E, A minor. Now, when we're looking at a song like this and we've got 2 chords, we're like, I don't like it in A and G. Okay, so we would practice. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Fits my voice okay. I'm all right with those 2 chords, but sometimes you play with a singer who is not okay with that. As guitar players, the singer can't change. We have to change, and that's why these bar chords, this little tiny bar chord lesson that I'm going to give you today, is helpful. So we're going to sing Drunken Sailor. We were sitting out with our friends, and our high maintenance friend who is a singer is with us, and he or she cannot sing in this key. And you can. What can we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? This works perfectly fine with you, but doesn't work for them, so you end up changing. All right, let's try some of these other chord pairs and see which ones go. Now, you want the chord pairs to be ones that make sense on guitar because you don't want to work nearly that hard. And there's also a solution to that, right? When you're working with a singer, you keep a capo in your guitar box, bag, case. That's the word I'm looking for, guitar case. You keep one in there in case you're going to be working with a singer. Probably as a fingerstyle player, there's no reason ever to have a capo, but you will sooner or later have to play with a singer, and so having a capo on you is probably not a terrible idea. And again, it's not for you, it's for them. A minor is our main chord, so that is a pretty friendly guitar chord. We know how to make A minor, and G is on there. So if I'm thinking about this in terms of music theory, I'm going A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, so it's number 7. Let me get these right. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, so the A minor and the G major is the 7th of A. So let's do a couple of other ones just to see what happens. So if I don't like B minor, it's too hard to play. Let's C minor. I don't know. You really like that one. Yeah, maybe. D minor. Oh, I know how to play D minor. D minor is a good one. So D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay. So D minor and C would be my next possible choice. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Lying change your chord. Morning. Yeah. Okay, so those work. D, E, F, G, A, B, C would be great. Okay, so those are guitar keys. So then I would try that with the singer and see how he or she felt about whether that's going to work for them. Doesn't feel as good on my voice, but I'm not much of a singer, so I don't get to make that decision. All right, let's see, D minor. Oh, I like E minor. That's the next one, E minor. I kind of like that one, right? So E would be E, F, G, A, B, C, and D. So E minor to D. Like both of those chords. Let's try that. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning. So that works as well. And I would say that one, because it feels lower overall, might work really well with a male voice. Some of these guys that have big, deep baritone voices. I'm technically in the baritone range, assuming that I'm not much of a singer, obviously. But a baritone range is sort of your sort of run of the mill male voice. Sometimes a baritone singer will be very forceful and very powerful, and that's the guy you want to play E minor with. You get that nice, deep, beautiful guttural sound of the guitar and then a baritone voice. They sound real nice together. Most male singers are tenors. Not most, about 99.9% of them are tenors, and so they are a little bit higher than I typically sing, and they don't necessarily want a guitar that's singing along that low. They might tend to like the D minor or even A minor a little bit better. Let's see if there's any others. F minor, I don't like that one. And G minor, maybe not. I don't know. So those are the three chord pairs that I think, as I'm thinking about it, and I'm going to transpose it, that I would be thinking of first. So now I want to play all three types and have you at your house. You're going to sing like a nightingale and see how you do. This would be the one point where you can go ahead and sing. Look around, go close the door, lock the door so nobody can come and make fun of you, and find out which one hits your voice better. Now, don't be under the notion that just because A minor or D minor or E minor works well with your voice means that it's always going to work well with your voice in every song, because it is very song specific. There are a lot of times when a song just doesn't work, and so that's when you transpose it, and you tend to go with the keys with chords that you like to play. Okay, and so we now know A minor, D minor, and E minor are going to be our most likely victims. Okay, so let's do all three. We'll play the song just once through in A minor, then in D minor, then in E minor. Okay, so start with A minor. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Lying in hooray, and up she rises, hooray, and up she rises, hooray, and up she rises, early in the moon. So that's one vocal area, right? A minor to G. I more or less fits my voice, but may or may not have done well with your voice. Next one, let's go to D minor and C. Okay, so I'm starting on D minor. And also, a song like this, Drunken Sailor, Pirates, right? You want to get after your guitar a little bit, make some noise, hit on, pound it out a little bit. We spend all of our time in fingerstyle going, making these beautiful, soft, pretty, delicate kinds of notes. And when we get a chance to just sing a manly man song, put a little oomph into it. Okay, so we're going from D minor to C major. 1, 2, ready, go. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Lie in the moon. Hooray, and up she rises. Hooray, and up she rises. Hooray, and up she rises early in the morning. Okay, that doesn't fit my voice particularly well, but maybe yours fits into that system a little better. That's all I have to say about that. Then finally, E minor, going to, what did we decide? E, F, G, A, B, C, D. Going to D. E to D. I like that. That sounds very guitarish, doesn't it? Let's play it down here. That kind of a sound out of it. Because right, you've experimented with this. There's this sound up here, it's kind of a hollow sound, a little haunting, right? This one's a little more tense. Sounds like those 1960s electric guitar guys, Dun, 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 dun. This is where you play House of the Rising Sun down here. There's a little tighter feeling on your strings. Okay, E minor to D. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Lie in the moon. Hooray, and up she rises. Hooray, and up she rises. Hooray, and up she rises. Okay, that one I kind of like that one. That's an okay one. Okay. So there's that program as well. So again, if you're not a singer, you're probably never going to need to know that stuff, but you are sooner or later going to be working with a singer who's going to expect you to know that stuff. So get comfortable, especially on these easier songs, these 2 and 3 chord songs that we do out of book 2 and 3. Spend a little bit of time. Hey, I like to sing this song. This song on the paper is an A minor or C or D or whatever it is. Sit down, use your fingers, figure out what the other chords are if you switch the main chord. And don't switch the main chord to something crazy, because we're going to talk about how to switch it to something crazy. That's with the use of barre chords. So on page 2 of your song, page 21 in the book, if you have the book, and I may not, did I post? Oh, it's not posted. I don't know. Is it on? Let me double check. Is that actually on the sheet music I posted? I don't remember if I gave you page 2 of it. Let me go peek real quick on the website, make sure I'm not just talking to myself. Yeah, you got page 2. Okay, so on page 2 of it, you have obviously the first verse that's on the other page written out with just chords and lyrics. Okay, and a lot of times when you're playing this kind of music, that's what you're going to have is chords and lyrics, and that's it. But I gave you 18 additional verses that I had culled from the internet in various ways, and they mostly all work just fine. So you can pick your favorite verse and play this. But we want to go down to the very bottom of the page, and we want to look at bar 1 versus bar 4. Okay, and this is where we're going to use that A minor and that A minor and E relationship to make things make sense for us. So if I go from, yes, you have it. Okay, Elizabeth, yes, I have it. All right. So in order for these two things to work out, let's say you're working with a really fine singer, a really high level singer, and he or she is really dialed into wanting this to sound the optimal spot for their voice. That's when you have to actually throw away your open chords altogether on guitar, and you're going to switch over to bar chords, because that way you can really dial into the exact sound they want. Again, this is where people use capos. The problem with capos is you clamp it on here and you are stuck with whatever the results are in terms of your other chord choices. But if you have this, if you get control of this, and it's one of those things in guitar that it's a bummer when you meet it, and it's a bummer for the first 10 years of playing guitar, and then at some point you just come to accept that this is your part and you're going to be using it a lot, and it is your capo. The nice part about this capo is you can put it wherever you want, whenever you want, and that's what we're gonna that's why it's nice and pleasant. Okay, so you can get a lot more specific types of sounds. Here's your A chord, A minor. Okay, I'm purposely using these three fingers so that it leaves my bar open, and I'm going to now slide this guy up and add the bar. So now instead of playing A minor, I am playing A sharp minor, more popularly known as B flat minor. Okay. If I move it up again, B minor. We play that a lot in level 3. Next one up, C minor. Next one up is D sharp, or more popularly known as E flat minor. Also, not without importance, you'll notice I'm really just doing 5 strings. I could get away with this 6th string, but it doesn't quite sound awesome. But I know when I play an A minor, I'm usually only going to play 5 strings. So I will do the same thing up here. E flat. Here's F minor. All right. B, C. No, I'm too early. I was like, that's not right. B, C, D minor here. Move it up 2 to E minor. E minor's on 7. And then F is right next to that, F minor. And then one more, 2 more up to G minor, which is on 10. So you have, that's why you need to know the piano keyboard. Those 12 notes on the piano keyboard, the white ones and the black ones, you got to have those memorized as a musician. There's no getting around it. You got to have those memorized. Okay. And once you have those memorized, then you know this is A sharp, B. There's no B sharp, so C. There is a B sharp, but you got to be pretty far gone into music to care. C, D, E, F, and G. Okay. I don't necessarily think you have to memorize what all of the names are on which frets. Enharmonic equivalence, right? That's exactly the phrase, right? Yeah, so you will find in Chopin, for example, when you're playing in minor keys, it is not uncommon to play an E sharp because of the key he's writing in. And especially when you're in the minor keys, it's very normal that it mathematically works out to be a B sharp or an E sharp. And even in those cases, there's even double sharps, which are which are really aggravating. But you got to be pretty far gone into music to care about that stuff. It exists, and it's just one of those things you talk about in more academic settings. Okay, we'll call it what they are. Okay, so so that's how you work your bar chords. Now, is that easy? No, it's absolutely killing my hand. And even Arlo, who's been playing bar chords his whole life, right? Probably right now is going, I don't really like doing that. No, he probably does. All right, then, so that's your minor run on using A minor, and that's a super popular chord to do bar chords with because of B minor, right? You already knew doing that from level 3. It's real comfy in position 1 for an A. You know, you slide it up here. Here's a nice D minor versus this one. So it's the same chord, just higher pitched. The inversion is a little bit prettier, I think, as opposed to this one. And so that's a good one to get comfy knowing your bar chord all the way up. Whether you need to know the names or not is probably doubtful. As long as you have the piano keyboard figured out, you can always count up and figure out where it is. Oh, I need a D minor right now. Let's see, A, B, C, D. Oh, it's right here. And that's how you would do that. Whether it's worth memorizing that on the guitar probably depends on what you're working on, where you want to get with guitar. Okay. The other one that we'll use then, of course, is the E shape, which is right here. Okay. Again, just your regular E chord, except with the wrong fingers, middle, ring, and pinky. And then same story. That's your E chord. We're going to slide it up 1. We're going to do your F chord. Okay. We're going to slide it up 2 to get to a G chord. You're on the 3rd fret. G, and that's actually one worth knowing right there. That one, and the next one at 5 is an A. Those do come up quite often. Okay. Beyond that, probably not too likely you're going to come up in an emergency situation. But that's A. B is the 2 more up at 7. C is at 8. And D is at 10. Here's where you talk about guitars that have 12 frets to the body and 14 frets to the body. If you're playing music that's likely to end up in this type of a situation, it's nice to have 14 frets to the body so that you have a little bit more room to work. It's also why you see on electric guitars and some acoustic guitars, they'll do a cutout here so your hand has the ability to get in there. On electric guitars, do a lot of work up in these types of frets. On the acoustic guitar, not so much. That would be a daily activity, playing that chord on an electric guitar. But on acoustic guitar, don't end up there all that often, thankfully. So now you have the major, you had prior to us, when we were talking about A minor, we have it down on these strings, right? And we're talking about the major, it's the same shape, just up on the upper strings. Okay. So there's your major movable bar chord and your minor movable bar chord. And then the last thing to do with Drunken Sailor is to figure out which minor shape, which fret do you have to be on to have it match the other one. So on the paper, you'll see bar on 1, minor shape. Okay? We don't care what the name of that is. You can figure it out if you want. Okay. E sharp minor, B flat minor. Okay? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Slide up to 4 and then switch to the major shape. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Slide back to 1, switch to minor shape. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning, hooray, and up she rises, hooray, and up she rises, hooray, and up she to 4, minor in back, major up front. Okay? Now, we now know how to play this song. Whatever this minor shape is, whatever the name of it is, it matches it, the major shape on 4. Okay, so if we're working with a singer who's particularly fussy or really trying to dial in the best place in their voice, we would try that. Well, does this work for your voice? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Now, don't like it feels too low. Okay, so now, same procedure. Move it up 1 to 2, minor shape here. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Now we slide up, instead of 4, we got to go to 5 because we've added a fret. Switch this to the major shape on these 3. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Back to 2. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Back to 5. Early in the morning, hooray, and up she rises, hooray, and up she rises, hooray, and up she rises, early in the morning. Okay. So that's how we then march our way up the fretboard using those 2 shapes to find the perfect key for the singer. And just using that bar chord 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way up. The one nice thing, even though bar chords hurt your hand, like right now, I mean, I'm pretty good at bar chords, and right now my hand's like, that's a lot of work. If you become a legitimate accompaniment guitarist, you probably want to switch to an electric guitar because it's way easier to play bar chords on an electric guitar than on an acoustic guitar. If you're going to be doing it a lot, don't switch otherwise, except that electric guitar is pretty cool. Your hand gets tired doing that, and but it gives you it allows you to really dial into the specific idea of whatever the singer would like to have, and it's kind of a fun thing to do, to mess around with. Try these chord pairs, see which ones sound best to you. And the other thing I wanted to mention, when you're playing in open position, hooray and up she rises, hooray and up she rises, hooray and up she rises, early in the morning. I can't stop the strings from singing just by lifting up because so many of them are open. So if I take this off, the guitar's still making noise. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunk? So there's still noise coming out of my guitar, which most of the time it's fine, but sometimes you don't want that, and sometimes you want to get that noise to stop, and that's where bar chords are very, very helpful. You're actually completely in charge of the sound. So if I want to play it long, what shall we do with the drunken sailor? Still coming out, right? And then go to your major on 4. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? And the noise keeps coming out. Or I can change it to a more staccato feel by just simply barely lifting up, and that stops all the sound. And there are plenty of times you might want to do that. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? 4. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Back to the 3. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning. Okay, so bar chords have a really nice effect that you're now officially in charge of your instrument, which is what we're all working on anyway. Is that if I leave it held down, sound keeps coming out. The minute I'm sick of that sound coming out, just loosen my hand up, and you get that. You can stop the sound, and that's why, like a lot of top professional guitar players only use bar chords, especially if they're doing a lot of strumming and they they want to be in charge of all of the sounds that their guitar is making. Now, you prefer bar chords over open positions, and I don't think a lot of guitarists do that, but I certainly know, in rock guitar, you will do that an awful lot. I think quite a bit in jazz, they play that way as well on purpose to stay in charge of how much sound is coming out. And if you have an electric guitar, you really do need to get good at bar chords because all the time weird, crummy sounds are coming out and you got to stop them somehow. Okay, that's Drunken Sailor. I don't have too much else to say about that. That's what I got. So let's see. Sound comparison between A major. That's another thing to talk about. Not an altogether terrible thought process. This is A minor, right? Sounds sad. Here's A major. Happy. Here's A7. A little bit nervous. Okay, all of those types of sounds are useful when telling a story through music, and minor chords, of course, are a huge deal in music. A lot of times, it's actually more fun to write in a minor key than major keys because you get some really fascinating use of major chords up at that you can use to resolve with or to peek over into other keys rather easily when you're writing in a minor key. Let's see. I'm supposed to talk about that G chord. Switching between A and G, we talked about that, and then we talked about the 1-4-5 program. So look at me, knowing what I'm supposed to teach you just out of my own head. All right, that's it. Hope you guys had learned something. Hopefully that was helpful in some respects. With that kind of a song, it's super fun to just sit and pound on your guitar. And maybe that'll be a good afternoon activity for you. Also, really good to work on that bar chord to build up strength. That muscle right there. There's actually 3 muscles that run your thumb. I looked it up the other day. One pushes it back, one pulls it up, and I don't remember the other one. I think it makes it do this, right? So there's 3 main muscles in here, and we got to get all of them tough. And the only way I know to get them tough is either go rock climbing, which you're not going to do because you're going to fall off the mountain and crack your head open, or play guitar, and that really, really builds that strength up there. Elizabeth is just saying, hey, my Fs are getting better, and that's because she's getting stronger, right? Yeah, you spend a little bit of time. When you first start bar chords, they sound terrible, and you quit guitar. Those of us who don't quit guitar, we work on that F chord, and we work on it, and eventually it gets better. And I think, to be honest, playing Drunken Sailor with those bar chords, go from 1, then to 4, and back to 1, and then to 4, and back to 1. If you did that as a warm-up every single day for the next 6 months, bar chords would probably go away as a problem for you. And plus it's a fun song, right? You got 18 verses, pick 4 a day or something and go through them. You always want to end up, that's what we'll do with the Drunken Sailor. So you always end up on verse 18. But I think, Elizabeth, I'm delighted to hear you feel like your Fs are starting to come along. It just means that hand strength is showing up there and you're getting where I think part of it is the actual hand strength. The other is just the confidence level, right? So, all right, guys, I'm going to head out. You have a wonderful day. The bug is still out there, so stay inside and play guitar. It's a way better idea than going out and looking for that bug. So play some music, and obviously I'm so far behind on email. There's probably no point in sending me an email if you have any questions, but I will get to them eventually. So have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. What are we doing tomorrow? We are doing... Oh, row, row, row your boat. That's where we get to be. We get to go way up the fretboard. So it's super fun. It's a fun song to play. And I will see all of you guys tomorrow. Have a great night.